Hello, and welcome to Carnegie Alumni Center's Greek Hall. Over the past 10 years, we have worked to collect, preserve, and build these beautiful display cases to highlight our 10 fraternities and 8 sororities on campus. With over 11,500 living Greek alumni, Greek life is a cherished part of Grove City College's history. And with that many living Greek alumni, I'm not going to sit here and bore you with details that you probably learned during Pledge. Instead, I'm going to go over some of the lesser known things about our history of Greek life. If you would like more information about some of these groups, or you can't remember what the mascot for a certain fraternity is, feel free to go to our Greek Hall page. As many of you may remember from our Histories and Mysteries video in the fall, Isaac Kettler was adamantly against Greek groups forming on campus in the early years of the college. So much so that he forced students to sign a contract yearly saying they wouldn't join a fraternity or sorority. And if they were caught, they would be expelled. We do know that groups were formed, disbanded, and students were expelled. However, there's one group that managed to slip through the cracks with that no fraternity rule, and that's Pan-Sophic Fraternity, which was founded in 1911. Now, the Pans were able to fly under the radar because they formed as a club. There were lots of clubs forming around this time, so it was a little bit easier for them to do this. They were founded as a group of men studying the Greek philosophers. It also helped that they all lived in the same boarding house together. So in the earliest years of the college, there wasn't enough housing for all of the students, so they ended up having to rent out rooms in boarding houses in town. And the Pan-Sophic Fraternity, mostly all of the founders lived in the McBarney house. This helped make it easier for them to have secret fraternity meetings. In 1913, Isaac Kettler passes away, and our second president takes over, Alexander Orman. He's a little bit more lenient when it comes to fraternal organizations forming, and the Pans are recognized as the first fraternity on campus. It's also in 1913 that the Adelphikos fraternity is founded. Now, they're unique in the sense that they brought members from the Webster and Shakespeare debate club. Now, these two debate clubs were arch rivals, and Adelphikos was able to disperse some of that rivalry in founding this group of like-minded men. Our next fraternity has a unique history behind it as well. Delta Iota Kappa was founded in 1916. Now, in 1916, war is raging in Europe with World War I. Kettler pretty much knew war was imminent for the United States and created an unofficial military training program on campus to prep his students for if they were to have to go to war. Also at this time, the town of Grove City has an established National Guard unit called Company M. Many of those members of Company M were actually Grove City College students. And so between Company M and the military training program, Delta Iota Kappa was born. They would end up remaining a military ROTC-based group for years to come. You also might be thinking, wait a minute, she hasn't even talked about sororities yet. Well, that's because sororities were still not allowed on campus. And I know some of you are probably thinking, wait, but doesn't PA have weird rules about women living together? I could have sworn I heard that once. And the chances are you probably heard that rumor. But it is just that, a rumor. It is an urban legend that has spread for decades and is still spread to this day. However, there's no factual evidence or a law on the records. Whatever the reasons might be, sororities were still not allowed on campus until 1924. However, that didn't stop some sororities from forming. Some brave and bold girls decided to found the first sorority with the leadership of Bernice Thompson. Tri Sigma sorority was founded in 1917. Now, you probably remember the black and gold Sigmas walking across campus. But some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, black and gold? No, that was the Zetas. Well, that's because they are one and the same. In 1989, the Grove City College Tri Sigma sorority was sued by the National Tri Sigma sorority. Grove City College does not have any national sororities or fraternities. We are all local groups here. And Grove City College's Tri Sigma sorority had never registered their name like the national sorority had. So even though the sororities pretty much had nothing in common, the Grove City College sorority lost the lawsuit and had to change their name, choosing the name Zeta Zeta Zeta. However, they were allowed to keep their traditions, their colors, their history, and all the memorabilia they had. They just couldn't create any new memorabilia. The next sorority is founded in 1919, the Gamma Chi sorority. And they had a little bit easier because their secret sorority was a town girl sorority. Now, what the town girl sorority meant, it was local girls from town who commuted into campus. So this made it easier because they had options of off-campus places to have their secret sorority meetings, where your tri-sigs had to sneak out of their rooms at night and have meetings under candlelight. And that's because girls had a lights out at 10 o'clock. There will be more town girl sororities and campus sororities founded later. And yes, there were more town girl sororities. For example, Delta Delta Tau was originally founded as a town girl sorority. They would eventually get rid of that town girl versus campus girl sorority mentality. But there were several that were founded as town girl or campus. You'll have more sororities founded in 1924 when the college officially allows sororities to form, and a little bit later on. Going back to 1919, World War I had ended. Many of these soldiers had built fraternal-like bonds overseas. They brought that back to campus, and that is where Epsilon Pi was founded. You'll have a similar situation after World War II in 1948 when Omicron Psi is founded. You'll have a few more fraternities founded in the 1950s and 60s, including Kappa Alpha Phi in 1956. So with World War II and Korean War sending so many male students to Grove City College on the GI Bill, you had men who were of legal drinking age and who had just risked their lives to save our country, so they didn't really want to follow the strict no drinking policies of the college. However, not every student felt that way, and that was actually a major sticking point for Kappa Alpha Phi. They were founded as a non-drinking fraternity. So if you've gone on our Greek Hall page or you've walked through Greek Hall yourself, you may notice we are still missing a few fraternities and sororities. That is because these boxes are built from the generous donations of our alumni and the active sorority and fraternity members. We can't build these boxes without your help. So if you're cleaning your attic or your basement and you come across some of the items that you had from college, whether they're Greek or just Grove City related, feel free to give them a new home in the college archive. And our current students value so much our Greek alumni, from the Greek alumni associations that have been established, as well as the many Greek scholarships that have been endowed and funded by our generous alumni, and the general mentorship that the alumni can give to the current student body. It is so appreciated. If you would like to get more involved or learn more about what your sorority or fraternity is up to, you can go to alumni.gcc.edu, or you can contact our alumni office, alumni@gcc.edu. And if you're interested in giving to that Greek scholarship, you can go to giving.gcc.edu. Thank you.